Judge, I do have the report that was sent from Larder, the opinion, and I'll just read this into the court. Mr. Watts.
Welcome to Solving Citizen Legal Encounters. All right, before we get into the video, I want to welcome a new member by the name of Cheers, GXP. Cheers, huh? We got to find out about that. Check out the community post. Something over there for you, okay? Now, as you saw in the snippet, they're going to reveal Mr. Watts' competency, okay? So just watch it. Let's see. This is the first case, or one of the first cases. So I may just put them all together because I've already done the other two. All right? So let's go.
All right, we'll go on the record. Case is entitled State of Kansas versus James Brent Watts, case number 22 CR 83. Would counsel announce appearances, please?
Cheryl Pierce on behalf of the state, Your Honor. Judge, I don't know if you recall, but Mr. Watts represents himself. James B. Watts is self-representative. James R. Watts is here as standby.
Correct. So James R. Watts as standby counsel. James Brent Watts has been representing himself on the case. Mr. Watts, is it still your intention to continue to represent yourself on this case?
Yes.
All right, we need to get this case set for prelim. It's been set a couple of previous times. Mr. Watts had been declared not competent to stand trial. He has now been to Larned, and they've I received a screening. I don't have that in front of me. Ms. Pierce, or do you have that in front of you?
Judge, I do have the report that was sent from Larder on August the 2nd. I also forward that to James R. Watts as well. I didn't provide that to the defendant as I would have to go through jail to do that, but I have no problem doing that. The opinion, and I'll just read this into the court for the most part. Mr. Watts has a sufficient understanding of his current legal charges, the seriousness of these charges, and possible plea or possible penalty. He distinguished between evidence and witness and or the part each has with respect to his defense. He has an adequate understanding of the roles of the court officials and understands that he wishes to represent himself. He understands the significance of the case relevant information and more general legal information available to him. In addition, Mr. Watts understands how to communicate preferences regarding how the case will be handled. Further, Mr. Watts has a basic understanding of his role as the defendant and how he will be treated by the legal system in a number of important ways. Mr. Watts' responses to semi-structured questions demonstrate that he understood and appreciated his current legal situation. Currently, Mr. Watts has the ability to maintain a consistent defense, to listen to witnesses, and to respond to distortions or misstatements, to make a simple decisions in response to well-explained alternatives, and to testify in his own defense if necessary. Thus, at this time, it is the recommendation of the examiner that Mr. Watts be found competent to stand trial. Additionally, based upon Mr. Watts' history, it is likely that that if he is not maintained on psychotropic medications, which he willingly takes, he would likely decompensate and his mental health would deteriorate. Therefore, it is respectfully requested Mr. Watts be maintained on psychotropic medication, monitored and managed by a psychiatrist. And that's the opinion of the report. It is signed by Roy G. Daum, D-A-U-M, and it is dated 8/2/24.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pierce. And I did have an opportunity to review that report, and based upon those findings, I will order that Mr. Watts is competent to stand trial, and we can proceed moving the case forward again. Mr. Watts, is it still your wish to have a preliminary hearing in this case?
Yes, yes, it is. Also, I need to get a permission or whatever, and my mother will have to pay for it. I'll need to be in contact with my parents, but I need to take a polygraph test. They're saying that I shoved them down. I did not shove them down. I need to take a polygraph test on that, and I also need to take a polygraph test to introduce for my credibility. I will take the stand, and the polygraph would just be to introduce his credibility. But anyway, the firearms I purchased on Arms List and newspaper and elsewhere. All the
Mr.
firearms are
Watts, I don't want to get into the facts of the case. Right now, this isn't the actual preliminary hearing. I want to set a preliminary hearing date. I think what I'm going to do is just set it
Okay.
all day. That way we've got the time if we need it.
Okay.
All right. My preference is to do it in person. Mr. Watts, we'll set it as an in-person hearing, and they'll transport you over here to the courthouse that morning. We'll start at 9:00 a.m. evidentiary preliminary hearing. Now, regarding a polygraph, that's something you'll have to motion the court for. That's not something that's typically done. You'd have to make arrangements to have that paid for. So
Do I have to go to the court, or can I just make sure my parents can pay for it and go ahead and do it?
well, I think if you can pay for it yourself and make arrangements to have it done at the jail, I don't think you have to motion the court for it.
Right. Because I won't need it for credibility, because both my parents have got scared on the prosecutor having something to do with them on not evidently resisting me enough. The firearms were mine, and I had them hid in the house, and I removed them. They weren't going to stop me.
Okay. Well, Mr. Watts, again, I don't want you to say something here that might incriminate you down the road. So let's not discuss the facts of the.
Oh, I possess
Okay.
firearms. I will never give up my right to firearms. As long as the heavens laws of the universe that everybody can have firearms. Arms, not just firearms, arms.
All right.
As y'all said in the comments in the last video, this man is obsessed with firearms.
Mr. Watts, we'll see you back on October the 1st at 9:00. Miss Pierce, anything else today?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
All right. Attorney Watts, anything?
No, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I'll ask Mr. Watts, do you want me to come to the jail to review any sort of procedures or assist you in any way?
Yeah, I will need probably some assistance. I don't have access to contact. I need access to contact. My mother is my guardian, and she has access to all the finances. I really need to have access to contact her and communicate with her. They also take care of a trust, properties and stuff. I know of things that need to be done out there, and I've been holding off for over 2 years now and getting stuff done. But this can't go on forever, and me not have contact with my parents, guardians, and trust.
If you all want to have a private conversation, we can do that. Sounds like Mr. Watts or Attorney Watts has made an offer to come visit with you. Is that accurate?
Yes.
That's correct, Your Honor. I've got a jail visit scheduled later this week, and I will add Mr. Watts to that list.
Very well. All right. Mr. James B. Watts, anything else?
I think that covers it. We can visit there and see whether we have anything else. I don't visit at the jail.
Sounds like a plan. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Have a good evening, everyone.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. some of you didn't believe that he was deemed competent. I know he passed a medical report, but that can mean anything. But there's the proof right there. They read it off. So I found it, so I wanted to share it. Okay, so have a good day, evening, or night, and I have another video for you soon. Okay, take it easy.